Hey folks, here OS Reviews. In this video we'll be briefly going over some of the aesthetic design and the hardware choices that Motorola has made since the Razr was first released. This was one of the most commercially popular and successful phones for Motorola, a super sleek clamshell phone that could flip open and close with this rather large display for its time and a super sleek but also very flat keyboard that created this modern appeal but also made it difficult to text and dial completely by feel. But obviously this was a striking design for Motorola, and they really retained it in almost all of their newer phones that came out afterwards, from sliders to smartphones to other flip phones that they pulled out. So as a quick look at some of the phones that we've reviewed previously, so here's two more. We can really see the resemblance from the Motorola's both design with its slimness as well as its keyboard. So this one, the Motorola F3, which is this long-lasting but also budget-oriented candy bar form factor phone, and you can see inspiration from the Razr with the keyboard and how everything is super flush in one piece. It makes it easier to manufacture these phones, not as easy to again text and dial by feel, but it certainly makes the phone look really sleek as well as thinner in profile. So again, both of these are actually budget phones. This one was an eco phone that we also checked out. It was for T-Mobile, and the same thing, although it wasn't quite nearly as slim, we also saw the same trend with this D-pad and how it's really laid out in this interesting 5-way toggle, as well as with these soft touch rubbers on accenting the sides, and again the same thing on here that really originated with the Razr's design. And even later on with some more complex phones, perhaps with the Sliver series, again the same D-pad that came on the Razr was implemented here once again, so the same downside but also the same plus of looking very futuristic. And this really started the trend for Motorola of kind of branching this design into also smartphones, and we saw that in devices such as the Motorola Ming, which was this Linux-based phone. Doesn't really share that many features hardware-wise that you can differentiate very easily, but you could certainly see it in its successor, which was the Rocker E6 that you see here. That runs on the same operating system and has the same internal specifications as well as feature set, the same 2.4-inch resistive touchscreen display, and they're both smartphones, although they don't really look like it by 2017 standards, and they only have Bluetooth, no 4G, no Wi-Fi of course, but at least there is support for more applications such as Java programs to run on it. And again, you can see the same inspiration from the way this D-pad is situated, really flush, as well as this aluminum accent that makes it really shiny and reflective, so we definitely see where that inspiration kind of came from. And even down the line, after the Rocker E6 came the Rocker E8, which was its successor. And it's no longer a smartphone per se, but we've also done a review on this phone, and it's unique for its Moto Shift keyboard, which is this morphing keyboard that changes its orientation and what's displayed underneath depending on the program that you're in. It has this interesting capacitive sensor for sliding through your songs that reminded us of an iPod, and again, it was interesting in terms of the tech, but it's no touchscreen, and it certainly isn't a smartphone. But again, very similar in terms of its styling, and it actually, believe it or not, runs on a skinned-down version of the same Linux platform that came with the Rocker E6 before it, and also the Ming. So this is actually considered as a family of products if you look into the product history of Motorola's devices. And lastly, we have, I guess, a quick look at some of the more smartphone endeavors, such as Motorola Q, which was this Windows Mobile smartphone, and this is actually the Q Global, which is a second-generation model that came out after the original Q, but it also shares striking resemblance to the Razr in terms of how its D-pad is actually situated, where it's completely flush, and we have this backlit, again, soft touch rubber divisions or walls that border the keys here that creates this interesting aesthetic design. So really, even in their smartphones and how they followed up with Droids and Android devices afterwards, there is this kind of lineage as well as the inspiration that's drawn originally from the iconic Razr's original keypad and form factor design. So thanks for watching this closer look at kind of some of Motorola's design history, as well as how their products have evolved through different ideas as well as platforms through time here at OS Reviews.